Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
And this is a special edition of Live in the D following breaking news. The search is on for this armed prisoner who attacked a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy and escaped. You're looking live at the police chopper searching for him now.
This is very important. Take a very close look at your screen right now. This is the man police are looking for. His name, Abraham Pearson. He's also known as Derek White. He has already assaulted a deputy, carjacked a woman. He is still on the run. He is considered armed and dangerous. Now, as we said, these are live pictures from Sky 4 right now over the scene where police continue their search for Pearson. At this point, he is believed to be on foot.
Now, we have a team of reporters who have been all over this story from the moment it began this morning. Sean Lay was on assignment at the Hall of Justice when the pandemonium broke out there. We will talk with him in a moment. But first, let's go to the east side and Rod Maloney, who is near the scene of where the carjacked vehicle was dumped and where this search is ongoing. Rod?
Yes, Guy, we're at Helen and East Jefferson here in the city of Detroit, and I'll just step out of the way here so you can see they have the command post set up here. But it was actually 2 blocks over on, let's see here, I'm trying to remember what street it was. It was Concord Street that the vehicle was ditched. And then the belief is by the scent that the canine was able to pick up that they came this way in this direction a couple of blocks, and so they've concentrated the command post here. There is also the Homeland Security helicopter flying at almost treetop level, very low, but it's the Homeland Security helicopter helping the police department, Detroit PD, and also the Wayne County Sheriff's Office with this search of this neighborhood where they believe the suspect, again, his name Abraham Pearson, going by the alias of Derek White, is located. Now, we talked to Chief Craig just a couple of minutes ago, and he gave us this about where this investigation is and who this guy is and why they want to get him.
Number one is we want to get this dangerous individual off the streets, and we'll stay in this area as long as it's necessary to make sure we apprehend him.
Now, one of the things that we have seen here is that behind me here, the street on the far end of that, where we're standing right now, and if I'll pull up my map here, it would actually be East Lafayette near Grand Boulevard. They have that street blocked off, and pretty much every street going in the direction toward downtown, which would be westbound, would be where they're blocking off streets here. And they've got vehicles with lots of police officers in them, like 2 in the front, 2 in the back, looking at every single movement that happens in the area, looking to find this guy. And so they've got a lot of resources into this thing. It's a cooperative effort. A lot of different police agencies helping out here because one of their own has been hurt. The deputy with the 36th District stabbed in the neck, and then this man ran away, carjacked a car, and then headed out and ended up a couple of blocks over here. And we're still trying to sort out what specifically happened there because we had video there. We were over there earlier where the carjacked car, it was a minivan, got stuck in the woods, and there was another car next to it, and police were investigating and asking a couple of women who apparently were in these vehicles what was going on. We attempted to talk to them, and we were told it's a live crime scene, could not find out. So that's something we'll certainly go to work on later in the day. But for now, it's just trying to find this guy. Again, his name, Abraham Pearson, a.k.a. Derek White.
I can't even imagine how fearful that must be living in that area, knowing that that individual could be there hiding out.
And how desperate he is. So desperate that he attacked a deputy and escaped. Thanks so much. Sean Lay was actually on assignment at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice when all of this broke loose. First on the scene, somewhat by accident. Sean, you saw it from the get-go, and it was chaotic.
As a matter of fact, we were standing right here getting our equipment together when deputies ran past us. We ran with them. We're going to show you our exclusive video here in a moment. But first, let me update you on what's happening right now. Look at this line, because the business of the court here at Frank Murphy Hall of Justice has to continue. It's been put on hold after the lockdown here right at 8:15 this morning when this escape took place. So these folks are trying to get back in. The courthouse has reopened, and they're trying to get people screened carefully through security here so they can get in, and so judges can start their dockets here and what is a very, very busy day. More on that in just a moment. But as you mentioned, it was exactly 8:15. We're standing right here. Deputies come flying out, running out of the courthouse with guns drawn, and we went with them. Take a look. Only Local 4 cameras are there and rolling to capture the chaos in the streets of downtown Detroit as the incident began. You can watch the frantic search unfold for an armed and dangerous suspect. Police identifying him as 25-year-old Derek White. He had a 9 a.m. sentencing on the 7th floor before Judge Dana Hathaway today for carjacking and other violent crimes, and he had a plan that he wasn't going to prison today. White was taken from jail to court in shackles, being escorted by one unarmed Wayne County Sheriff's deputy. When the deputy uncuffed White, White pulled out a comb sharpened into a shiv or a knife, and he stabbed the deputy.
The inmate, as he was unhandcuffed and being placed in his holding cell, overcame the deputy, stabbed him several times in the neck.
White then was somehow able to undress that deputy, put his uniform on, take an elevator down to the ground floor, and run out without any other deputy or court official hearing the attack or seeing the escape. Blocks away, White carjacked a driver in front of the old Detroit Police headquarters and sped east. He dumped that van at Concord and Lafayette and ran.
To get this information out sooner than later, because we're talking about a dangerous suspect in the community, and so we wanted to get his picture out and any information. So anyone having information concerning this suspect, please call the Detroit Police Department or Wayne County Sheriff Department.
All right, back here live outside Frank Murphy Courthouse here now. Let's be very clear and get the latest information now. You're looking at one of the first pictures we've seen of this guy, alias Derek White, but real name Abraham Pearson. So let's stick with Abraham Pearson for a moment. We also have a secondary picture from the Michigan Department of Corrections from an earlier violation of Pearson. So Abraham Pearson, that's the guy police are looking for right now, can look like this or look like this. So two different looks here. We believe this look here is probably the latest look due to his hairstyle as well. Something else live I want to show you behind the courthouse here, right over this way. Now, about an hour ago, there was a very aggressive scene here by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement to set up shop an investigation behind the courthouse. That was for them to, again, sweep the courthouse to make sure it was free of anyone else who could have been a part of this, anyone else who may have stashed a weapon inside, and also their investigation about how in the world a shackled prisoner could get out of custody and stab a sheriff's deputy. Number one, Guy and Karen, we're hearing that deputy over at the hospital stabbed several times in the neck with that sharp comb. He is okay, going to be okay. Number two, that deputy was by himself. The sheriff tells me that those deputies are unarmed and unarmed for a reason, because they are escorting prisoners. They don't want to give prisoners access to any guns, so the deputy is unarmed. He was just escorting Pearson and two others. So he is in charge of 3 different shackled prisoners, took them up to the 7th floor. As he's unshackling them again in a room by himself, that's when Pearson was able to get his hands free. He pulled out his shiv and stabbed that deputy. So the sheriff says it's a staffing issue, why only one deputy would be in charge of 3 different prisoners, and something like this possibly bound to happen here, and today it did happen. Again, the very latest, this line, the court continues here. People are going to have to wait patiently to go through security to get inside to get the business of the court going as well. Karen and Guy.
Sean, you did mention that the Wayne County Sheriff's Department set up that special unit to see if perhaps he had any help in this or anyone was there to aid him. I know we mentioned that he was perhaps in a gang. Have you gotten any word on if there was any key evidence or anything that may have tied him with some help from the outside?
Sure. I asked the sheriff that specifically. Did he have any help, or did the 2 others that were with Pearson help him while all this was going on? The sheriff said he didn't have that information right now and probably didn't believe so. Maybe Pearson was acting alone. The other question I asked the sheriff was, we've all been in these courtrooms, Karen. I know you have as well. Guy has as well. Deputies are all over the place. You've got them as bailiffs, as court officers, as security guards. And when someone is sentenced, there's more than one person in that area. What we didn't know today, what we learned is that we knew that there was a holding area next door to the judge's office, and that's right behind the bench. You can't see it. It's through a door there. They unshackle someone, bring them before the bench. We didn't know what goes on back there, that only one deputy would be in charge of the people back there getting ready to face a judge. That's interesting as well.
It is. Very frightening, too, and to realize the cutbacks, and this is what we're dealing with.
Right, and yet a lot of questions about why you would unshackle a prisoner that you know is going to be going right back into prison anyway. It's not like it would influence the decision of a conviction or anything like that. Sean, thanks so much. We know we'll have much more on these staffing issues. Let's get out to Lauren Podell. Imagine seeing someone in a Wayne County deputy
Right.
shirt carjacking somebody. That's what folks witnessed this morning.
Right, and they wouldn't know exactly what was going on. Was it a carjacking or did they need that car? Lauren Padella has been working that side of the story. You've been talking to some witnesses who saw this. Lauren, what did they say about what they saw?
Karen and Guy, this is another area that the Wayne County Sheriff's Department has been swarmed around all morning. Take a look. I'm in the Metropolitan parking lot along Beaubien, right by the Harbor House, right across the street from the old police headquarters. And you can see, take one look. This is packed. It's a busy parking lot, and there's no wonder why there were so many witnesses who saw Abraham Pearson, otherwise known as Derek White, walk through this parking lot. Now, again, they saw him in a dirty white T-shirt, but with sheriff deputy pants on, and the next thing they knew, they heard screaming from one of the people parked in this lot.
He doesn't look like a sheriff officer.
This is the man Fayasuddin saw walking through the Metropolitan parking lot around 8:30 this morning, dressed as a Wayne County Sheriff deputy.
He wore the sheriff pants, and he wear the dirty white shirt, and he have a shirt for sheriff.
It was 25-year-old Derek White who had just escaped from the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. Fayaz said the man was walking towards the old police headquarters on Beaubien through the parking lot when he carjacked a woman. Teresa was parked nearby.
When I pulled up in the lot, the suspect was already in the car, and the woman was screaming, "Help, help, he's got my car, help!" And he rushed off really quick and had the nerve to stop at the stop sign.
It was a gray Dodge Caravan parked in the front row of the lot. The driver, a woman, was not injured, but the suspect got away heading south on Beaubien before he ditched the van here at Concord and Lafayette. Now, Guy and Karen, you can see it seems to be business as usual where everyone is parked, going to work, going back to court. But I will tell you, we do have undercover officers here on the scene that we cannot show you who are still investigating part of this area. So we will continue to stay here on the scene. But again, we heard that that carjacking victim was safe. She was not injured. She actually went across the street to the old police headquarters where she was questioned by officers, where they tried to keep her calm. But so far, things seem to be back to normal here at the Metropolitan parking lot. Reporting live from downtown Detroit, Lauren Podell, Guy and Karen, back to you.
Can't even imagine parking your minivan, trying to get a little bit of work done, and that happens.
Thank goodness no children inside the minivan or anything like that. Lauren, thank you so much. And then a lot of concern about the sheriff's deputies with multiple puncture wounds to the neck. Only one needs to nick an artery, and you would have had a much different outcome.
They do put their life on the line, and sometimes people don't realize that in this situation. Let's go now to Ashley Bearsley. She is live at Detroit Receiving Hospital, where we understand that Betty Napoleon just arrived to check on the status of that deputy.
That's true, Karen. We arrived here shortly before 9 o'clock this morning, right after the deputy that had been stabbed was transferred here. He had already arrived before we got to the scene. Now, Sheriff Napoleon did arrive here about 15-20 minutes ago, walked right through these doors right behind me, and obviously visiting with that deputy. Now, he told Local 4 earlier that that the deputy had been stabbed in the neck but was doing fine. Now, sources are also confirming that that is the condition of the deputy. He should be fine as well. Right now, I can tell you that the scene around Detroit Receiving Hospital is very calm. There doesn't appear to be any extra police personnel, and that really has been the scene since about 9 o'clock. Nothing out of the ordinary. So we're going to continue to stay here and hope to catch Benny Napoleon, Sheriff Benny Napoleon, as he walks out those doors to get another update on that deputy that is inside. Reporting live outside of Detroit Receiving Hospital, Ashley Bearsley, back to you.
All right, we'll check back with you when you speak with Benny Napoleon. Let's go over to Lauren Padell. She just got an update on the discovery of an important piece of evidence. What happened here, Lauren?
Karen and Guy, just as we left you going live just in the last half hour, Michigan State Police detectives located and found not only the sheriff's deputy uniform that the escaped prisoner was wearing, but also the inmate outfit. It was here at the Metropolitan parking lot where we've been live all morning, and it was found stashed underneath this red SUV, which has been parked here since around 8 a.m. when we first arrived. Now, here's how Michigan State Police figured this out. They went into the Greektown Casino. They are still on the scene here, and they checked out the surveillance camera, which basically caught the entire carjacking incident that took place just several hours ago. They saw the man walking through the Metropolitan parking lot, Abraham Pearson, otherwise known as Derek White. He walked up in between this red Jeep and this pewter SUV you can see, and that's where he took off the inmate outfit, took off the sheriff's outfit, and threw it underneath this vehicle. Now again, Michigan State Police detectives just bagging both of those pieces of evidence up. We've had undercover officers throughout the morning. Right around 11 a.m. they started swarming this scene, and now we know why. Again, they're going to be investigating not only this carjacking and this evidence, but they're going to be looking at the surveillance video from the Greektown Casino to lead them to more clues about Abraham Pearson's whereabouts. But again, two pieces of evidence right now in that police cruiser going back to be investigated. But again, Guy and Karen, the inmate outfit Abraham Pearson was wearing, along with the deputy's pants and shirt, found right underneath this red Jeep, and it just broke moments ago.
You were looking at brand new video of escaped prisoner Abraham Pearson being taken into custody.
Good evening. He was arrested less than an hour ago after spending the entire day on the run.
Detroit police arrested Abraham Pearson on the service drive at I-94 near Mount Elliott. Mara McDonald is live with the video of his arrest that you'll see only on 4. Mara?
Devin, Carmen, let me bring you up to speed. Sheriff Napoleon is with us right now, as well as Deputy Chief James Tolbert from DPD. Sheriff Napoleon, bring us up to speed.
At approximately 10 o'clock this evening, Abraham Pearson was found walking in the area of Mount Elliott and I-94. We were alerted to his presence by some citizens. We dispatched a car to the scene from the Detroit Police Department. After a short foot chase, he was arrested and brought back in custody.
Sheriff, I understand it was undercover officers from number 11. Did he give them a hard time? Did he
tried to escape again, but he was caught.
Is it believed that he was actually in the area earlier when he did receive the tip, or was that possibly a false tip?
We have been searching the city, following up lead after lead after lead. I believed all along and said all along that I thought he was on the east side of the city of Detroit, and that's where he was found.
How is your deputy tonight?
Our deputy is fine. To question anyone else in custody, we have made another arrest in relationship to this, but how connected it is at this point, we do not know. It was on an existing warrant.
Does that come from the two people that were detained on Burlingame?
No.
This was the girlfriend?
Yes.
And so was she able to help lead you to this individual?
We aren't going to talk about that. All the information that we have related to any assistance that we have will come out once he is arraigned.
Can you talk about any additional charges he will be facing?
He is facing, I believe, 11 additional charges. He is looking at a significant amount of time, including being a fourth offense habitual offender.
Deputy Chief Tolbert, can you bring us up to speed on how DPD played into this tonight? Because you guys have been all over the place tonight as well.
Well, it's been a concerted effort. Along with the Wayne County Sheriffs, we've had the Customs and Border Patrol, MSP, just a numerous, even Highland Park, numerous law enforcement agencies in the area. And I'm telling you, it's just when we come together when an officer is injured or at a crisis situation, and it culminated with Officers Keesley and Shepard, who did an outstanding job responding to the scene, pursuing this dangerous individual, and taking him into custody without any further incident. So it's hats off to all the law enforcement community in this area at this time.
When he was picked up, was he armed?
Not that we know of.
What kind of help do you think that he got on the outside once he left the minivan that he had carjacked?
I don't know.
I'm sure that's going to be investigated.
You know, we made it very clear that anyone who was assisting him was looking at some very serious charges, and we were going to prosecute them as if they were involved in the assault on my deputy. So thanks to you in getting that information out early, we believe that he was not running into much success getting any help. I do want to add to, in addition to what Chief Talbot said, we had the FBI, Livonia PD, the ATF, Border Patrol, U.S. Marshals, and several other agencies that have...
Sheriff Napoleon bringing us up to speed on the situation and the ultimate takedown of Abraham Pearson, picked up along I-94 And Mount Elliott tonight, apparently he was walking along the service drive looking for a ride when an alert citizen called in the tip, called 911, and DPD undercover officers from number 11 responded. Carmen, Devin, back to you.
All right, Mara, we'll let you get back to the comments there from the sheriff and the police department. Again, though, his girlfriend also taken into custody tonight. We'll have to wait and see if these are truly connected with, although she was on an outstanding warrant, as Benny Napoleon just said.